So I'm going to be going through types of evidence that you're going to be looking for as you move on to the body part of your essay, and you're looking to support your supporting arguments with evidence from sources. So here are just some ideas of what kinds of sources that you can be looking for and what types of evidence you need to be including. So data and statistics. Data refers to numbers or facts from a credible source. Usually someone credible researched and presented a study that provides solid numbers. This could also refer to scientific fact or other generally proven concepts. All facts and data should come from individuals or institutions whose bias is small and their credibility is large. We're going to talk about how to tell what sources are credible in a few minutes. Expert opinion. So experts in various fields have their opinions, although these opinions might not be considered pure fact. Their perspectives on their respective fields tend to be more credible than just anyone else's thoughts, and their opinions could be cited as support for an argument. And that is because these experts are just that. They are experts in their field. They studied this for a long period of time, so their opinion should be taken into consideration, and you can include that to help support your argument. So who's an expert? It depends on what your topic is. A respected doctor would make a great recommender for medicine or something medical related. My grandmother would make a great recommender of pasta sauce quality. It's another example. A professional athlete would make a great recommender of something sports related. So keep in mind who is an expert and who isn't, and whose opinion might matter for the topic that you're talking about, okay? So if you're doing something technology related, you're going to want some expert in that field, maybe an IT person or someone who has a lot of experience in that field. But you need to be careful that you're not just quoting anyone, because why does that person's opinion matter to your topic? How does that help your argument? Okay, examples. You can find historical examples, an instance from history where a situation related to your argument, a current event or a situation taking place right now that connects to your point. Cultural connection. You can use an illustration from a popular song, piece of literature, movie, law, politics, religion, or some other generally recognized component of culture. And then comparison or analogy. Connect what you're talking about to an illustration or analogy that your audience could be familiar with. So all of these things are types of evidence that you can include in order to make your argument stronger. Remember, you are required to have a minimum of one piece of evidence from a source, from a different source for each of your supporting arguments. So for CP, you're required to have a minimum of 2 sources, and you can use as many different pieces of information from one source as you want to, but you have to have at least 2 different sources. So it could be 2 different websites. It could be a book and a website. It could be a journal and a book. But whatever it is, it has to be 2 different sources. So how do I know which sources are reliable and which are not? So this is just a kind of quick guide on how to figure out if a source is reliable or not. So how current is it? When was it published? When was it last updated? If it's a study that was done, you don't want it to be too outdated. What are older sources appropriate to your topic? Are the links functioning? So if the links don't work on the website that you're using, then someone has not updated it. So it's not current anymore. How relevant is it? Does it relate to your topic? Who was the intended audience of it? Was it written at your reading level? Have you considered other sources before just deciding on that one? Make sure it actually backs up your argument to begin with. Otherwise, if you're just incorporating some other random piece of information about your topic, but it doesn't support what your specific argument is, then it's not relevant. Authority. Who is the author and the publisher? Did anyone sponsor the publication? Who? Does it make the author... What makes the author qualified on the topic? What does the URL tell you? .gov, .edu, .org are usually pretty good ones, but you want to be careful. Like, for example, there's a debate.org, and just because it's org, it doesn't make it credible necessarily, especially, actually, I'm going to say don't use that at all, because it's a good place to go and get your ideas, maybe. Nothing that's not common knowledge. You're not going to cite anything from there. but it's a great place to find ideas on the arguments for and against your topic. But beyond that, you're not going to take anything from that site. Accuracy. Where is the information coming from? Is it supported by evidence? Has it been reviewed by others in the field? Can you verify this information from elsewhere? Is it unbiased and free of emotion? Is it free of spelling or grammatical errors? Okay. Purpose. Is it intended to teach, sell, entertain, inform, or persuade? Are the author's intentions clear? Is the point of view objective and impartial? Are there underlying biases? Okay, so all of these things you want to keep in mind when you're talking about and thinking about how credible is the source that you're going to be incorporating in your paper, because the sources, just the sources in general that you use, that is going to be a big part of your rubric and the final copy here. Okay, and again, just going beyond this, credible versus non-credible sources. Credible sources are journals by authors respected and well-known in their fields, websites from credible institutions like government websites, educational websites, things like that. Websites with regularly updated information and a specified author. Materials published within the last 10 years or groundbreaking studies that are older than 10 years. Not credible sources, blogs and Facebook posts. Research articles without citations. Materials published over 10 years ago that are outdated, websites with minimal information, or those persuasive in nature. Be careful if you are doing something about social media. I understand wanting to use, examples from social media, and I know that's on the non-credible list, but you need to be careful. You also need sources that are credible. So you can use them as examples, but that is not a credible source as far as if you're trying to argue your point. You need something else, some study or some other information here. So that is the end of that slideshow. Hopefully that helped you figure out what types of evidence I'm looking for and how credible those are.